Okay, so this is a tough one. So we got letters and powers everywhere. So let's start off here. So powers outside parentheses multiply powers inside parentheses, right? So this 6 power is going to go boom, boom, and this minus 2 power is going to go boom, boom. And notice how I put a 1 on that X, right? Any number or letter that doesn't have a power really has an invisible 1 power. So go ahead and put it there. So then powers outside multiply powers inside. So what's going to become of that? That'll become X to the minus 6, Y to the 12. And the next one is X to the minus 2, Y to the minus 12. Over. And the bottom is still just X to the 3rd, Y to the 4th. So the parentheses are gone. So powers outside, those 2 powers outside parentheses. Oh, wait a minute. What did I do? I did that wrong? Should have been 18. What am I doing there? 6 times, I'm just totally messing up, right? 6 times 3 should have been 18, right? Let's try that again. So 6 times 3 is 18. 6 times 2 is 12. Okay, there. And then minus 2 times 1 is minus 2, and minus 2 times 6 is minus 12. Yeah, now I've got it right, right? So powers outside parentheses multiply powers inside parentheses. Okay, now what's next? Next thing is to take care of the unhappy campers, the negative powers. Any powers that are negative are unhappy. Where they're like somebody unhappy at their job, they're going to jump to the other side. So I'm going to write that and do that. So now, our negative powers are negative, they're unhappy. They jump to the other side of the fraction, then become positive, right? Then they're happy. So this guy and this guy are both, I'll just put them over here. It doesn't, well, here. I'm going to jump him over here next to the X's. And I'm just going to keep the Y's next to the Y's and the X's next to the X's. But they're both jumping down, right? Whereas everybody else is staying put. Everybody else is happy at their jumps. Everybody else has a positive power, right? But those 2 are not happy. They're jumping. Okay, and so down here. And so what do we end up with? So I'm going to do like all the X's over here in red. So we have X to the 18th, and then that X to the positive 2 now jumps down. And there was already the X to the 3rd that was there as well. And then when it comes to the Y, we have the Y to the 12th that was already up there. And the Y to the positive 12 jumps down, and the Y to the 4th that was already there. Hopefully I didn't lose anything. 6 terms looks good. Yeah, so I just kind of, organize the X's with the X's and the Y's with the Y's, keep things separate. The 2 negative powered items jumped to the bottom and then became positive. Okay, now what do we do? Well, let me see. Probably I would just cancel these guys straight out, right? Y to the 12th, Y to the 12th, just gone. What are these 2 going to do right here? They're going to add. X's side by side are going to add, and then I'll subtract the result in a minute. So I'll end up with X to the 18th on the top, X to the 5th on the bottom, right? Those 2 added side by side, and then the Y to the 4th is still just sitting there. And then you know what's going to happen here, right? These 2 are going to subtract. So X's side by side add, X's vertical or any other letter, X's or Y's or whatever, subtract. Okay, so what do we have then? We're going to end up with X to the 13th on the top and Y to the 4th on the bottom. X to the 13th, Y to the 4th. And so the answer is, so what they're asking us for up here, they're saying, what's the power for X? 13. What's the power for Y? 4. That's what they just want the numbers. All they want is, hey, what's the power on the X? Hey, what's the power on the Y? They're saying, yeah, I'll leave it. They're saying, it's X to some power E over Y to some power D. That's how they're saying it. And they're saying, what's the power on the X? What's the power on the Y? 13 and 4. See what happened on that last step? the 18 and the 5 subtracted. And why did the answer end up at the top? Because there was more x's on the top, right? Wherever there's more, that's where the leftovers end up because they cancel, right? This really means a string of 18 x's, and this means 5 x's. So they cancel 5 of them, and you're left with 13 extras on the top. That's what happened there. So there we go.